All right, moving on. Aztecs, these are a T2 Civ for me. They have a jungle start bias. This is part of the reason why they're T2. Jungle start bias is fairly painful. It means that your production is going to be very slow and your luxuries, getting your luxuries online is going to be very slow. Jungle coats everything. It coats your hills. You can't produce there. It makes improving luxuries take forever. That's a downside. Additionally, they have a bonus. It's basically built into the floating gardens. So floating gardens is a watermill improvement, and it's a huge deal. It gives you 15% food for your city, and each work lake tile provides additional 2 food. The part of that does, and it has 1 less maintenance than a regular watermill. It allows Aztec cities to grow very quickly. The downside is it requires fresh water. So this is why the Aztec are T2 as opposed to T1 for me, because they have they have the jungle bias, which is actually in my mind detrimental bias. Jungle is very good late game. It's very slow early game. The thing about slow early games is you often can't catch up. Very strong early games like Huns have or Russia has, that type of stuff, often snowballs a civ into a crazy strong position. However, if the game goes long enough, you're going to be able to utilize those jungles nicely. You're going to be able to get trading posts up on them and utilize the science that comes out of them. And you're going to get floating gardens to let your cities grow very large and have the population for even more science. So Aztecs become a very dominant science civ the longer the game goes on. Their unique unit is a warrior replacement. It's a warrior replacement that has woodsman, so it moves quickly through forests or jungles, has a combat bonus in forests and jungles, and like all Aztec units, gives culture for the Empire when it kills enemy units, including barbarians, and finally heals 25 damage if it kills a unit. It's an okay unit. It's not bad, it's not great. The 25 healing is a little too small for melee units to use them aggressively, but it's very good versus barbarians. The culture is nice. The culture is nice all the way through the game, especially if you're at war. That culture can add up over a long period of time to be quite useful. It's an okay replacement. Not great, not bad. This is quite good. The floating gardens replacement is very strong, especially if you can actually utilize it. And and their jungle bias is so. Overall, pretty good. It makes them a very strong science civ, although often with a slower start and takes some effort to get going, but can be quite powerful. I give them a pretty solid tier 2 for me, in part because of the early detrimental, the low detrimental. Wow, let's try to say that better. The slow early game, which is somewhat offset by things like the Jaguar.